Hi, I'm a lawyer. I like to sue people, get criminals off the hook, and get paid handsomely. I also like to talk about law, crime, and the kind of stuff that makes you lose faith in humanity, but laugh anyway. This is not legal advice, this is a deeply inappropriate TED Talk for felons. Let's begin. You've just made $5 million, totally legit of course, by launching a viral app that charges $9.99 a month to tell people what day it is, selling motivational supplements with labels printed at home, and maybe flipping some exotic animals on the dark web. Whatever. Point is, you've got stacks of cash and zero paperwork. Problem is, walking into a bank with a backpack full of sticky bills is going to raise some eyebrows, especially when it smells like sweat and jungle mud. Welcome to money laundering, the underground ritual of turning crime cash into clean, usable money. It's practiced by mob bosses, crypto scammers, and at least one guy in parliament who looks like your uncle but has 5 offshore trusts. Chapter 1. What is money laundering? Money laundering is the process of making illegally obtained money appear to be from a legitimate source. It's not just sneaky, it's essential if you're running any kind of illicit operation, because until it's laundered, crime money is radioactive. According to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, up to 5% of global GDP is laundered each year. That's between $800 billion and $2 trillion. I don't know about you, but that's a lot of money, man. In Australia, Section 400.3 of the Criminal Code Act 1995 defines it as dealing with proceeds of crime, whether you knew or were simply reckless to the source. In the United States, Title 18 U.S. Code something 1956 and 1957 criminalize financial transactions involving proceeds of unlawful activity. This isn't about hiding money under your mattress. This is about slipping that dirty money into the bloodstream of the legitimate economy, unnoticed. Think of it as enrolling your criminal cash into a witness protection program. Chapter 2. The 3 stages of money laundering. Money laundering works in 3 classic stages. Not everyone uses them all, but this is the gold standard playbook. Number 1 is placement. This is where illicit money first enters the financial system. It's the most dangerous step. Think of it like trying to sneak a wild animal into a dinner party. This is where illicit money first enters the financial system. It's the most dangerous step. Think of it like trying to sneak a wild animal into a dinner party. You need to get your dirty cash into circulation without attracting attention. And for this, cash-based businesses are a godsend. They naturally handle high volumes of physical money, which makes it easier to blend illegal cash with real revenue. The best laundering businesses are simple, common, and difficult to audit in real time. Barbershops, car washes, vending machine operators, strip clubs, restaurants, nightclubs, taxi companies, even used car dealerships. All of these can report exaggerated cash intake without raised immediate red flags. Let's say you run a cash-only pizza joint. Realistically, you make $1,200 a day, but with laundered money coming in, you report $4,000 a day instead. You pay tax on it, and now you've converted crime money into legitimate business income. You could also buy chips at casinos in places like Macau, Monte Carlo, or Vegas, gamble just enough to create a paper trail, then cash out with a receipt that says winnings. Other methods include circular payroll, hiring ghost employees, paying them with illicit funds, and then withdrawing it back, or structuring, breaking one large deposit into many smaller ones under regulatory thresholds. Think $4,900 deposits instead of a single $49,000 one. This is done across multiple branches. Bonus points if you outsource this to runners, also called Smurfs. Now comes the fun part, layering. This is the financial equivalent of building a hedge maze and tossing your cash into the middle of it. The purpose of layering is to disguise the audit trail of the money, to make it untraceable. This is done by creating complexity, multiple transactions, across multiple accounts, in multiple countries, using multiple currencies and instruments. For example, you wire the funds from your fake pizza place in Sydney to a holding company in Belize. The company hires a consultant in Hong Kong. The consultant's account is connected to a crypto wallet in Estonia. The money becomes Monero, a privacy-focused cryptocurrency that is nearly impossible to track. You convert the Monero into Bitcoin using peer-to-peer swap. then send it to a Cayman Islands trust that owns a real estate firm in Luxembourg. Each of these steps has a paper trail, but no single authority has access to the whole picture. That's the goal, make each layer seem legal in isolation while the full picture remains invisible. Common tools include shell companies, fake invoices, false debt repayments, forged import-export documents, offshore trusts, and trade-based laundering, where goods are over or under invoiced to shift value across borders. You can also use gambling websites, mobile money apps, art auctions, and prepaid cards. In the end, it's like shaking a Polaroid until the picture blurs. That's what you're doing to the money. Step 3. Integration. Finally, integration. This is where you stop pretending to be a laundromat and start pretending to be a business mogul. Now that your money has passed through layers of obfuscation, it can be reintroduced into the economy without raising suspicion. This is where you spend it or invest it. You buy real estate. You could open a legitimate business, a cafe chain, a software company, a boutique winery that never sells wine. Maybe you launch a startup with $5 million seed from yourself. You could also issue loans to your own shell companies, then receive repayments with interest, or use forged investment returns, or funnel money into family trust to be distributed as dividends. At this stage, the money looks like any other income. It's in your bank account. It's declared to the tax office. It's earning interest. It's clean. Chapter 3. How authorities try to catch you. So how do governments and regulators catch on? They start by leaning heavily on financial institutions. Under anti-money laundering legislations, banks, casinos, real estate agents, and even lawyers must report any suspicious transactions. This includes customers making frequent cash deposits just under the reporting limit, clients wiring large sums overseas with vague justifications, or people with no jobs buying multi-million-dollar homes. In Australia, AUSTRAC is the regulator. In the US, it's FinCEN. In the UK, it's the NCA. Globally, the Financial Action Task Force, FATF, sets the standards and issues warnings. Banks file what are called Suspicious Activity Reports, SARS, and no, we're not talking about the virus. These don't mean you're guilty, just that your activity doesn't pass the sniff test. Over 1.6 million SARS are filed annually in the US. If regulators investigate further, they'll often use unexplained wealth orders, where you must prove your money was earned legally, forensic accounting using AI to track unusual flows across borders, asset forfeiture laws which allow seizure of property without a criminal conviction if linked to crime. The tools exist, but enforcement is difficult. Why? Because financial criminals use networks of offshore shell companies, encrypted messaging apps and burner phones, professionals like lawyers, accountants, who knowingly or unknowingly assist. You've got a war between overstretched regulators with forms in triplicate and criminals who innovate like Silicon Valley and steroids. Chapter 4. Real Life Legends of Laundering. Let's talk about the goats of the game, the legends. HSBC was fined $1.9 billion in 2012 after admitting it helped cartels launder money through its accounts. They set up special processes in Mexico to accommodate cash deposits from criminal organizations. Nobody went to jail. Danske Bank's Estonian branch, I hope I got the name right because it's a bit of a weird name. Anyway, they moved over $230 billion from Russian and Azerbaijani sources through thousands of shell companies. These red flags were ignored for years. You just think as an employee, if this was happening in your bank, you'd want to tell the regulator about it, but for various reasons they didn't. And I'm quite certain the people who were doing the criminal activity were probably buying them nice things, like really nice things. Wirecard in Germany misplaced $2 billion. Like, how do you do that? It was never really there. Their CFO vanished. It was the fire festival of fintech. In Asia, junket operators used VIP rooms in Macau casinos to move massive amounts of cash out of China. You bring cash, get chips, gamble a little, cash it out clean, and then the operator wires your winnings overseas. These cases aren't just crimes, they're business models, and they actually do really make a lot of money. Chapter 5. Why it still works. Why does money laundering persist despite regulations? Because criminals are better funded than the regulators chasing them. It's as simple as that. and also because they do innovate a lot faster. Agencies face massive enforcement gaps. Shell companies can be set up in under an hour. And quite frankly, I've probably set up a shell company for some of my clients in about 15 minutes, depending on who the provider is. Cryptocurrency wallets can be opened without ID. Jurisdictional loopholes make prosecution near impossible if every layer of the scheme touches a different country. Plus, there's political pressure. Some of these launderers are donors, or politicians, or both. And real estate remains a favourite destination for washed money. In London, Sydney, Toronto, units sit empty, owned by anonymous corporations. No tenants, no lights, just capital looking for a hiding spot. And it's pretty sad because I know as a person who lives in Sydney that a lot of people don't have a home to stay in, or they can't live a good life because they can't get a place to stay in. It's as simple as that. If these homes were available for sale or for proper rent, then it would make the cost of living a lot easier for a lot of people. If you try this, don't blame me when you end up on a Netflix docuseries titled Follow the Money, The Rise and Fall of a Dumb Criminal, quite possibly narrated by me, and even me being the journalist who goes after you, or me being the lawyer who tries to lock you up, or maybe even me being the lawyer who tries to get you off the hook. I don't know. Now anyway, if you found this video sharp, funny, or horrifyingly useful, just hit subscribe, like this button, leave some sort of message below, and if you want to support more deeply researched and better produced content, make a contribution via PayPal or Patreon. Not a donation or contribution, because with your support I can spend more time crafting these dives into the underbelly of law, finance, and whatever else humanity ruins next. Unlike a lot of the other creators on YouTube who make videos about this, they're not really a lawyer and they don't have access to the things that I can access. Therefore, I can make some pretty good videos. This was small print, big problems. New videos every Sunday at 11 AM Australian Eastern Standard Time. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, and don't forget, the cleanest money often has the dirtiest path.